get everything done? Welcome to All the Things with Julie Miller Davis, where we interview the experts who love to do everything you shouldn't be doing so you can stop juggling all the things and start doing the right things. Here's your host, CEO and founder of JMD Productivity Training and the host of All the Things, Julie Miller Davis.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the October show of All the Things with Julie Miller Davis. So excited to be here today and to have all of you and to have our guest today, Ann Hill, joining us of Hilltop Consulting. I'm so excited to have her. So we are all about, at JMD Productivity, helping people set some new habits and patterns into place so that they can stop trying to juggle everything and start focusing on the things that actually are going to grow their businesses and catapult them into a higher level of success more quickly than they might be getting there otherwise. So I am really excited to introduce our guest today, Ann Hill. She has had the desire to help others for as long as she can remember. She spent over 15 years in the physical therapy field. And then where she thrived at managing the operations side of the business, which leads her to where she is now. So then she created Hilltop Operations and Consulting, an agency dedicated to streamlining the way that companies run. She's a certified director of operations, allowing her the perfect way to match her expertise with the services clients need. After working with Ann, businesses save time, money, and frustration by having efficient processes and A-plus team members on board and a solid profit margins in their businesses. I am so excited to welcome in Ann Hill. Yay! Hi, Ann.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Good. Thank you for saying yes. I'm so happy to have you. I've known Ann for almost exactly a year, actually, and so thrilled to have you today. But so I gave your bio, the thing that I read. But could you paint us a little bit more of a picture of your journey, kind of weaving in the essence of your business and more about what drove you to start it?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, my background prior to being an entrepreneur was as a physical therapist, and I actually never wanted to be an entrepreneur. People used to ask me as a physical therapist if I was going to, own my own clinic or what my goals were as a physical therapist. And I liked the corporate life. I liked the corporate world. I was that typical, corporate person there being the rehab manager. And then things changed. I had 2 kids at home, and one ended up spending a fair amount of time, unfortunately, when he was really little, in the pediatric ICU. And I was feeling already a little burnt out in the healthcare industry, which again, unfortunately does happen a fair amount. After years of people being in the healthcare industry. This was even pre-COVID. I was burnt out from the healthcare industry. And I had decided to do something different. I was the primary breadwinner. I needed to be able to still support my family and still do something that would bring in an income. I did a lot of research and was looking at how could I own my time more, and how could I be able to do things that would be at home, be available for my kids, be available for my family, and not feel that pull of constantly being away from home and away from my kids, and still, like I said, bring in an income. So I decided, after a little bit of coaching and a little bit of learning about the online space, I decided to start my own business. And when I did that, I had no desire. I had no awareness of how much personal growth and development at that time that goes into being an entrepreneur. Yeah. I since have learned quite a bit about that and quite a bit about myself. So
we definitely do.
And so through that, I, continued to evolve and took what I learned in the healthcare industry and everything that I learned in that corporate space, and saw that there was a need in small businesses for that same sort of structure and that same sort of support. So that's really how I've bridged the gap between the two, that at one point in time never really knew would be an option and never knew was going to be out there. So like you said, I work in that operations space. I focus on the people, the processes, and the profits in businesses.
Love it. Love it so much. So if we're looking into productivity insights, and I'm curious, of all the kind of tools and quote unquote hacks, I don't love that word, but that you've encountered, what stands out as the biggest game changer for you in the productivity segment of your business?
So one thing that I have learned from you over the year that we have known each other is really that the amount of time that I give to something is how long it's going to take me to do it. And
Oh, yeah.
so really making sure that I, plan accordingly and I time block on my calendar accordingly. And if I give myself 3 hours when it really should only take me 45 minutes, I'm going to take the 3 hours to do it and I'm going to lounge around and take my time. But when I really know what it is and how long it takes to do it, and then I stick to that, I can be a lot more effective and efficient in what I'm doing. I also have this lovely, I guess, cube that I use that really got me to.
Gravity timer. Yeah.
Yeah, I have it sitting on my desk. I would say that's one of the key things too, is really, starting a timer, making sure that I only focus on whatever the task is at hand during that time and not try to, pick up a phone or go get a drink of water or go let the dog out. Or I focus during that blocked out amount of time that I've dedicated to a specific task.
Love that. Love that. So if we even take that a step further, how has just digging in and not giving into any distractions in that time, whether it's 15 minutes or 60 minutes that you have going, how has that transformed the way that you work in your business?
Well, it's definitely helped me to take the things that I know are the important things in my business and make sure that those are specifically time blocked. So I shifted my calendar around a bit to really emphasize I tend to get things done better in the morning, and then as the day has gone on, I drag my feet more. It's just kind of
Yeah.
a habit that I have noticed in myself, and I tend to get distracted more easily after lunch. I tend to just do different. I don't want to just sit at my desk after lunch, but I don't seem to have a problem really sitting and focusing first thing in the morning and knowing here's what I need to get done. So I make sure that on my schedule, the things that am blocking off that have to get done happen in the morning before I get distracted potentially by other things or
Yeah.
before my brain starts to go 10 different ways. And so it's taking the timer, setting it, and knowing exactly what the more important things in my business are that have to get done first, and making sure that those things are happening in the morning versus in the afternoon when I just tend to get more distracted.
Yeah, it's just making those conscious decisions, right, about what you're going to focus on and really about why you're choosing to focus on them. And what you're saying is true for most people that in Gary Keller's The One Thing, in the book, he talks about we have a finite amount of willpower every day.
Yeah, I would
Right?
agree.
And actually that might be I don't know if it's Stephen. It might be Stephen Covey. But a finite amount of willpower every day. And so the more we get into the day, the less willpower that we have. And so if we can get those important things done first and not leave them until later when we are more distractible, we have more things come up too, right?
Yeah.
Then we are much more likely to get it done and have more focus while we're doing it. So yeah, so
Yeah.
true. So true. So I love what you do in your business because what you are doing is really taking a lot off of a CEO's plate, if you will,
Mhm.
and helping them be more of a CEO so that they're not dealing with some of the process, like you're putting processes into place, you're managing the people, you're doing like you're their director of operations or their director of systems or whatever you want to call it. But I think that what you do is so important for people because, here we're all about discerning what matters rather than trying to do everything.
Mhm.
And so you are taking a humongous chunk off of people's plates so that they can actually focus on the direction of the business and doing the things that are in their wheelhouse. So
Right.
can you talk more about how you help hone people's productivity to help them make different choices in what they're focusing on?
Yeah, so I am looking at the business as a whole and talking with the business owner a lot about what it is that really are the key things that need to be them. Typically, there's 3 to 5. I would say that they really need to be the business owner. That's the heart of the business. It's what the business is, and yes, some of that is that visionary piece of them just having white space on their calendar for them to be able to dream a little bit and
Yeah.
work in that visionary space. But then also if they're if they're a coaching business, or if there's a specific way that they're bringing in leads and speaking, then those things are going to have to be the business owner. That has to be them doing it.
Yeah.
So then we want to make sure that we're saving time for those things to be done. But we look at everything else in the business and go, okay, well, who else can do this, and who else can we train to do these things, or is there an easier way that this could be done, or potentially automated? And so we start pulling apart all of the different aspects of the business and looking at, it's not going to be the business owner doing this. So now we want to build the process in a way that everything gets done to the same caliber, the same level, the same expertise, and the same knowledge that was there before, getting the same results for clients, but that it's not falling back on the business owner's plate. And so we build the process in that way so that we know we're going to still get the great results. We know we're still going to be getting everything done, but we're going to do it in a way that doesn't bottleneck the business owner. And it also doesn't, and it doesn't, have any impact necessarily on the business as a whole and the growth of the business as a whole.
We've actually been talking about that bottleneck word a lot in the mastermind that you're in now. So
yeah.
that business owners often are the bottleneck.
Yes.
Because they are in juggling all of those things. Their business can only grow so much, right? And they can only do so much. They can only have so many clients if they're trying to do all the other things in the business. And so it's truly what Anne does for you, and everyone who's watching this, is she undoes that. She helps you stop being that bottleneck so that your business can actually flourish and grow beyond what you're capable of doing on your own. And so it's magical. And not magical. It's a system. There's a system. So, and one of the things is really important to me at Jam, and what one of my foundations is all around, how do we make sure that we are recreating and enjoying our lives, as well as running a really profitable and streamlined business. So I'm curious, for me, it's a lot of hiking and skiing and being outside and playing tennis and golf and whatever else I can get my hands on. And then my husband and I just took a 2-week vacation and headed out to New England. And so it's really important to me also to go away once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So for you, how do you regenerate and recreate or recharge that battery?
Similar to you, I enjoy the vacation side of things, and I also enjoy going to the mountains. So, and a lot of those things also, we include our kids in that part too. I have young kids still. So, that, going up and going ice fishing, or going, out and going kayaking on the lake and that sort of stuff is a lot of fun for us. So we tend to camp in the summer times. We tend to go ice fishing and stuff like that in the winter more, but just being able to be outdoors and being able to step away. And so a lot of these places also, it's nice because you can't have internet access. So even if you want to, you can't in the mountains, or it's going to be really crummy. So, so it does truly have that.
Some of the people on this call sweat. They're like, no internet.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic to be in that. So if we go back into your business, can you share a recent victory or eureka moment in your business that you've had recently, and how it maybe redefined or realigned your goals?
I would say, so you were referring to books. I really enjoy reading books by Mike Michalowicz. And one of the ones that I've read it before, but I was reviewing it recently, was Clockwork. And one of the things that he mentions in there, I actually have it right here because I was looking through it before this call, a little bit reviewing it. But one of the things he mentions is a business owner's job is to create jobs. Your role is to produce the opportunity for people who want a good job with a good company. And so it made me really think back of, a lot of times we get into businesses because we love what we do. And so, it's like, well, my job is to do the thing. But in all honesty, it's been definitely a reframe of my job is, as the business owner, is to create jobs for other people. It's not
Yeah.
just for me to do all the work. It's for me to help grow the business and create jobs. And just really kind of reframing that, I think is huge for people.
That's an amazing change in perspective.
Hmm.
And if people can really shift into that thought process, it's been, it's a great pleasure and some pressure to bring people on and be paying them and supporting them and their
Right.
families, right?
Right. Yeah.
But if you're bringing the right people on, it's helping you grow that business.
Uh-huh.
So you don't necessarily miss the money. I mean, of course you're not making all that money, but to know that you are helping others make money and have a life that they want while being able to expand your business so you're able to serve more people.
Right.
It's a pretty phenomenal thought process that Mike has in that book. And I think if some of us could really shift the paradigm of what being an entrepreneur is, and that can you just say that quote again? Can you, because I
Yeah.
think it's just so rich.
Yeah. It says a business owner's job is to create jobs. Your role is to produce the opportunity for people who want a good job with a good company.
Mm. So it's just so good. It's so good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So I know that you've been reading a lot of him and doing some work with his systems and his what he teaches. Is there any other so that book is Clockwork. Is there any other book or podcast or something? Because learning and growth is a huge part of what we do here. Anything else that you have been digging into that you want to share?
I mean, his books are the ones that I keep diving into. Some of his older ones with Pumpkin Plan was another one that he wrote. But there's just a lot of good things, and even E-Myth. I look at all the systems books basically. Like those are the ones that I
Yeah.
look at.
Right. That's
and
like me with
review.
productivity books and habit books. That's
Yeah.
what I look at. Yeah. It's good stuff. And like the E-Myth, I mean, that's where it's really a precursor to Clockwork, where we get into business because we're really good at something.
Right.
It doesn't mean that we're good at running a business.
Right.
And so we're the technician. And how do we move out of being the technician and into the business owner?
Mhm.
And you can still do the things that you love to do. It's just a matter of how do you make sure that others are doing the pieces that aren't your strengths or that aren't what you need to be focusing on. And so I love that Clockwork moves you into that place where it's really your job to create jobs.
Yeah.
And you're helping to grow the economy that way, right? And
Yeah.
so giving people opportunities. I love it. Thank you
I
for that.
think one other thing that I have really been thinking about myself a fair amount lately is not only that part of, what do you call yourself? Do you call yourself a CEO? Do you call yourself a business owner? What do you call yourself? And I think, at least in the spaces that I typically am in and following, a lot of people talk about, getting out of the doing and into that CEO seat. But there's a piece that's even above that. I think, the CEO seat is still a lot of being in the business. It's being
Yeah.
in more of a visionary piece of it, but it's being in the business still. And, looking at it, whether you want to call it a business owner or a shareholder or something, what is that piece above that actually truly kind of steps you out of the business? And you have that, as a shareholder, you get these big decision making pieces of it, but not necessarily the doing pieces of it too. And so, really looking at what ultimately is the goal. Where do I want my seat to be, and what
Yeah.
pieces do I want to be sitting in and still have a
Yeah.
hand on in the business?
Amazing way to think about things. And by putting that out there, you're probably offering a way for people to think about their business even differently and their future a lot differently, and the dream of what the business could
Yeah.
actually be.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
awesome. Thank you. So let's shift gears into something that our listeners can directly benefit from you. Do you have any upcoming ventures, workshops, or exclusive giveaway that resonates with our audience? I think you do.
So I actually have a couple things. I have on my website, it's hilltopoperations.com. There is a hiring playbook. So if people are looking at bringing on any team members and they're just looking for, how do we even start with this process? What sort of questions do you ask? What are you looking for? So there is a hiring playbook on my website that people can feel free to jump on and look at that. And then there also is a just a business assessment, a self-assessment where people can look at in their business. It's just a spreadsheet that you answer yes, no questions on, and it'll really chart out what areas of your business, looking at the people, the processes, and the profit. And it's looking at those three things and seeing, of those three areas, is there one spot where I'm already bottlenecking my business? Am I the problem in some of these areas already that I can help, get some resolution and start making the right steps of what the right next moves need to be there.
Right. So it's Hilltop, is it operations and consulting or just hilltopoperations.com?
The website is the hilltopoperations.com. And then for that biz self-assessment, that one's at hilltopoperations.consulting.com.
And consulting.com/self-assessment. So I think that will be going up into the comments here shortly.
So I added a second one in there and messed with Susie there.
I have it. So Susie will be adding in here in a second. She's behind the scenes here.
Yeah.
So, Anne, is there, I just want to thank you so much for being here and for digging in with us today. And what you do is so important. And I just don't think, there's a lot of people out there like you doing exactly what you do. And you're so good at it. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your time with us and your expertise with us today. Appreciate it very much. And we will get this, hopefully this other link up. If we don't, we'll get it into the comments in the replay so that people have it for you. Otherwise, if you don't have that, if you didn't write it down, it's Hilltop Operations. I'm finding it on my little sheet here. Hilltop Operations and Consulting.com/self-assessment. I think it's really important that we all take that so you can really figure out where to start and kind of where you are in this whole process of things. So I'd love to see that any of you put that out there. All right, Anne, thank you so much. I'm gonna say goodbye to you for now, and I just hang out for a few, and we'll come back when we've wrapped everything up. Okay. Thanks a lot, Anne. All right, that was Anne Hill, Hilltop Operations and Consulting. I'm so happy that we had her here today. Thank you all so much. Here is that. That's not the right one. Hold on. Here we are. This is Anne's other other URL if you want to pop that one out for yourselves, and it's also in the comments so that you can find that. Just so you know, our next All the Things is Monday, November 13th at 10:30 Mountain Time, featuring Ann Bennett with Ann Bennett Marketing. So excited to bring Ann Bennett to all of you next month. Number one thing right now is the Unstuck event is coming up in just a couple weeks. October 25th through 27th is the Unstuck event. We still have spaces. We have been stuffing boxes for everybody's swag to come their way, and there is still time to register. You can attend live in person in Colorado Springs or on Zoom, either way. And right now our early bird tickets are still on sale. We're doing a flash sale through this Friday. So if you want to jump on that, go to unstuckevent.com and check it out. The other thing that we have coming up is that this Thursday, I'm at eWomen Network in Denver, Colorado on part of a panel. And in January, I'm speaking at the Phoenix chapter of eWomen Network on delegation. Thanks everyone for being here. We will see you next month.